Hey everybody, welcome. This is our first ever and maybe our last ever virtual Expo. Certainly want to welcome you, and hopefully next year we can be here in person and see you just like we have in the past. I've got two guests with us today. First of all is the President and CEO of Wheeler Mission, Rick Alvis. Welcome, Rick.
Okay, good to be here.
And thank you. And John Corbin, Regional President of Huntington Bank. John, man, thank you so much for taking time to be here
Sure,
today.
wouldn't miss it.
Really appreciate it. You know, this is our 18th year for the Drumstick Dash. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can remember.
Oh, I can remember.
You probably remember the conversation I had with you 19 years ago.
What I thought this is not a very good idea.
Yeah, I thought I was going to lose my job that day. You know, I stopped in your office and said, hey, I got an idea. And let's have a race on Thanksgiving Day. And I can still remember your exact words.
What were those?
Well, I won't repeat all of them, but it was like virtually, basically, are you out of your mind? On Thanksgiving Day, who's going to show up? But you know, Rick, you did something that you've done through my entire career here at Wheeler Mission. You said, try it, but if you're going to fail, fail quickly.
Yep.
And I really appreciate that. And thank goodness, you know, we didn't fail.
And actually, that was only about a 5-minute conversation, if I remember right.
It was, and look what
Yeah.
look at what it's turned out to be.
Yeah.
It has turned out to be something that is just a tradition in our community. And you know, with first year, John, we didn't know what we were doing. We were hoping to have maybe 500 people. Mm-hmm. We had a bunch of staff people who, you know, I think I was the only runner on staff. I've been to some races. We had no sponsor. We had no budget. We had no expectations, but maybe 500 people. And that first year we had like 1,300 people. Mm-hmm. So after that we decided, well, let's go after some sponsorship. Let's go see if we can get some money behind this to help Wheeler Mission. And Union Federal was actually our very first sponsor for the event. And
one of our predecessors.
I was going to say, what's that history, John, with you guys at Union Federal?
Yeah, so 13 years ago? Would that put us 13 years ago, 14 years ago?
Probably more like 16 years ago.
16 years ago?
Yeah.
So, boy, it's been a long time. I think early on, we looked into the community and said, where are some ways where we can help with folks that are homeless? And what are the organizations that can help? And it was actually my predecessor, I think, came over and had a cup of coffee with Rick and said, hey, look, we as a bank are looking to get involved in housing and with folks that are in low-income area. And we felt like Wheeler was just the perfect place to help. And I think at that time, you just had your first race, you were looking for a sponsor, and so the stars aligned, and here we went.
And the bank took a big chance on it.
Big chance.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, big chance. I mean, most races in town are operated by professionals who do race. That's what they do. You know, we don't. And you guys took a big chance. I just, you know, publicly want to thank you guys. And you stuck with us every year. So we're so grateful for now Huntington Bank for being our major sponsor for this event. We really appreciate what you guys have done for us.
Well, you mentioned tradition, and I think for the three of us, certainly, it's become a tradition. I wouldn't know what Thanksgiving morning was like without the Drumstick Dash, but I think for so many folks in the community as well, and for other sponsors that you have, the Dash has been a real tradition. And for so many families now, I remember the first few I came out, we would see, you know, again, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 people, up to now, you know, the last few years we've had 20,000, and I see kids that probably started 16 years ago that are now adults, right?
Yeah.
So that's been fun to see too.
Yeah, they're running cross country in high school now. They start out with us.
I will tell you, my youngest son, when we first started this, he was in a stroller, and now he is running cross country in high school, and none of us can keep up.
Well, I remember you telling me a couple of years ago that you wanted to run with him, or he wanted to run with you, and you told him just say, go ahead and go.
Just go. I can't keep up.
You know, it's something. Let's shift gears just for a second, Rick. And obviously, we're doing this virtual expo because we can't do it live, and so much going on in 2020. What's happening here at Wheeler as a cause of the pandemic, and this whole year has been weird. Talk a little bit about this year with Wheeler Mission.
It is weird is a good definition of it, because it's really been a very challenging year in trying to figure out how to navigate through the minefield, you might say. Because every day seems to be a little bit different because of what's coming from the CDC and the restrictions and that. And so, our staff has really had to kind of flow with those recommendations coming out of the CDC. So it's really put a great burden on our staff just to accommodate the people. Of course, back in March, when this whole thing hit, we had 902 people under our roof between Bloomington and Indianapolis. And I remember talking to Dr. Kane and telling her, I said, we can't social distance. I mean, because it is wall-to-wall people, in our facilities. And fortunately, the health department stepped up in the city and to help us kind of, get some social distancing. And so we were able to use other sites along with churches that we'd had lined up to get the social distancing because we had to get it thinned out. So it's been a real challenge. Of course, we've always recruiting face masks, and I don't think hand sanitizer anymore. I think we're good for hand sanitizer for a few years. I don't know. But, we were always getting the PPEs and stuff like that, and that was a challenge. Of course, one of the biggest challenges working with the homeless is they don't wash their hands. And, we have been able to put, thanks to the health department, the city, put hand washing stations at all of our sites. I think we've got like 20 of them spread around. And we have found that hand washing, we just had this conversation the other day. I asked my team, do you think is the key of us not really getting this pandemic spread, as more than what we had it? And they said they really felt like the hand washing. Yeah. And I would have thought they would have said the masks.
Yeah,
but the hand washing.
Something we're all getting used to now.
Yeah, yeah. And so, it's been a challenge. Of course, it's a challenge on finances because you're having to buy, all these PPEs. We've, had to, of course, secure staff. Had to get extra staff during the pandemic because some of our staff were getting sick. And they couldn't come to work for 2 weeks, and so we were kind of getting low on staff. So we had to go out and get more staff in order to keep the place open. So it's not business as usual, and this fall is not going to be business as usual either because it's going to present some different challenges for us. But now that I feel like we're through the scary part of back in March and April when people really didn't know what was happening, where we feel like at least we've got a handle on it.
But the problem's still growing.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
It's not as though the COVID issue is one issue, but then the just general homeless population is growing as well.
Yes.
And if I understand correctly, it's growing fastest even in women and children.
Yes. And we wish we had our new building done out there on East Michigan Street because we could sure use that new building.
Certainly could, yeah. And let me shift gears back to the Drumstick Dash. I know a lot of our watchers and viewers want to hear about that and what we're doing this year to keep people safe. We have received permission to have a live event.
That's exciting.
That's amazing.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We could be the largest race in Indiana this year, finally. No offense to the mini marathon, we love you guys next year. But we're taking a lot of safety precautions, and I know that's what it's the right thing to do. And some of those things are going to the race is going to look different this year.
How's that, Steve?
Well, you've been on stage with us every year. You've been on stage with us every year.
Yeah.
And you've seen that swarm of people, just
with the balls bouncing in the air. It's great.
A sea of people.
Yeah.
It's going to look different this year. We're going to have 2 start times, Rick. An 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock start time. And
so I can come to the 10 o'clock then.
You can't. Well, you can't. You need to be there the whole time. But we're limiting it to 3,000 people at each start time, and we're using the same length of start line. So that's about 12 square feet of distance for every person to socially distance. Masks will be required at the start and the finish. So I think it's going to be a very safe race.
But you'll have to limit the number.
We are.
Yeah,
we're limiting the number by far.
That's too bad.
And that's the hard part. That's why we're really encouraging people to sign up virtually. Because Wheeler, regardless of what happens, financially, Wheeler's going to take a hit this year.
Right.
It's going to happen. And so the more people that sign up virtually, I think the live race is going to sell out like that. And it may already be sold out at this time, I'm not sure. But virtually, we want people to sign up as many as they can to run virtually. We will mail people their shirt, their bib, everything they need. They don't do anything, just open their mailbox and they'll be there waiting for them and at no cost.
But Steve, we have virtual sites every year and people that run every year virtually. In fact, we have a lot of folks that run internationally.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That is absolutely right. We have probably five 400 or 500 people every year do the out-of-town dash around. We're hoping this year it's 10 times more than that, just because of the need. And the fact that they can't make it down to the start line, and people who just don't want to get out yet and mingle in a crowd, then they are encouraged to run virtually as well. I'm going to go back real quick. John, this whole year obviously affected your business too, but you've stuck with us. This year you stuck. Why?
Well, I think this year more than any, it's important that all corporations find a way to support the local organizations that need our help the most. And so when we look at our corporate giving, in fact, we increased our corporate giving this year in the middle of the pandemic. So I think we're all going to get through this together. This isn't something that one company or one family or one organization is going to get through. We're all going to have to find out how to get through this together. And so for us, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Again,
thank you.
We're so grateful.
Yeah.
We hope this lasts for the next 100 years, this relationship with you guys. It's been so much fun. I thought Newbold was fun. You're a lot of fun to hang out with.
Mike who?
Mike who? All right, I'm going to put you guys in the spot. Favorite Drumstick Dash memory? I think I know where you'll go, but think for a minute.
Okay.
Favorite Drumstick Dash memory? You're ready, it looks like.
Oh, I'm ready.
I think I know where you're going.
Oh, you do. Yeah, my favorite Drumstick Dash memory was we had a platform that you raised and lowered with a motor or something. We had one sitting outside in our parking lot here this week.
Yeah, a lift.
And a lift. And so we decided to use this platform for the Ready Start. And so Mayor Ballard is in this thing, and Steve is up there in it with him, and so they take this platform up, and Ballard does the ready, set, go, and everybody is going underneath, and when it comes to bring it down, Steve couldn't get it down. And I'm standing down there at the bottom of this thing singing, why? This is the mayor. Now we're gonna have to call the fire department. I could just see the fire department coming, putting their ladders up there to bring him down. And so finally Steve, found the key to it and was bringing it down. And in Ballard's security policeman was standing there next to me. He said, somebody's got to go to jail on this one. And I pointed and I said, he does.
He's your man. Yeah,
Matt Ballard was really good with that too.
He was at all the events. Mayor Hogshead's been all the events. They've been so great and so supportive.
Joe really loves going out there and throwing those Chicago pizza balls.
I know, really does.
So.
I found out afterwards that those lifts have a kill switch on the base. One of my coworkers, who remained nameless, accidentally hit the kill switch. So no matter what I did from the top, it would not start. But I was sweating bullets. I've never had a mayor mad at me before. All right. Well, John, favorite moment?
Well, I probably have two or three. The first was we talked about my sons and how they've learned to run over the years through the Dash. I think and I don't remember what year they were, it's my second son, but we had about a quarter mile to go, and he decided to kick it into overdrive, and I just couldn't keep up. And so that was probably, just seeing the growth in your children through the Dash, that was fun. I always enjoy looking out along the crowd and watching the balls bounce.
Yeah.
Right? And then, but probably my greatest memory was one morning while we were there in our queue waiting to go, a couple right in front of us got engaged. So he, just 30 seconds before the race, went down on one knee, and of course, everyone around cheering and all that. So again, back to the tradition of these sorts of the race. I'm certain for that family it's a tradition now, but it has been for mine as well, and I think for many.
Yeah, it's pretty humbling when you see your son now kind of taking over, isn't it?
I don't even try. I just say see you at the end. All three you guys enjoy.
I think we've had at least 3 marriage proposals. My favorite one, and you remind me of that, my favorite one was the year that they called us a couple of months ahead of time, and they wanted the groom-to-be, hopefully, wanted to propose. He wanted to have a Dash costume on, a mascot costume on. So we told him where he could rent an exact duplicate of our mascot. And we took ours off camera, off site, and he's out there being our man. And no one knew, except a few of the staff members. And he's out there being our mascot. And his fiance to be, his girlfriend, no clue what's going on. And he's doing his thing. And all of a sudden he gets down on one knee and takes his head off, which is, mascots just don't do that.
That's a mascot rule.
It really is. But he took off his head, and she was just bawling in tears. And the Channel 13 was there, Fox. I mean, all the media was there with their cameras, and she couldn't say no. So that probably is my favorite Drumstick Dash memory. And that, seeing on that stage, looking out over that crowd of people and thinking, man, this is all to support the homeless. This all supports Wheeler mission. So, guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here today. Last thoughts about this year? Any encouragement to our runners this year?
Well, boy, we
look right into that camera. Look right there.
I encourage you all to get somebody to sign up to run virtually. If you cannot run in the race, get a buddy, get somebody to sign up, and because that all goes to helping the homeless. So we really appreciate everybody that does this.
Yeah, I think it would be neat if we had neighborhoods across the state of Indiana with folks in their neighborhoods in their Drumstick Dash gear that morning, running virtually as teams and as groups. I think that would make just a huge impact, and so I think everyone could help with that.
That's right. That's right.
And you know what? Here's what I've learned as well. If you run Thanksgiving morning, you can eat as much as you want.
Free pie.
2 free pies.
Okay. Couple last thoughts. We've changed the course this year. The short course is exactly the same. You go down Kelston, you turn up north on Winthrop. But the long course now we have to stay on this side of College Avenue. We have to stay east of College. So we have created a brand new long course. I think it's a really cool scenic course that runs down south off of Winthrop and Guilford area through Meridian Hills. It's going to be 4.5 miles, but it's going to be a really cool course, cutting back and running straight up College. We can do that along the red line and back to the start-finish line. So brand new course. So you guys who are participating this year, make sure you look at maps. And I know I'm not supposed to do this, but thank you guys so much. All of you out there who have participated in the Drumstick. I'm going to get down to the camera level. My producer telling me to get down here. Thank you all so much for what you've done for Wheeler Mission. On behalf of all the men, women, and children experiencing homelessness, I know all of us, thank you so much for participating in the Drumstick Dash. Please sign up this year and sign up for the virtual event if you can't make it. We so look forward to seeing you on Thanksgiving. God bless everybody and happy Thanksgiving.